Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the December 9th Lebanon Board of Works meeting. Our first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, move on to the roll call members. Madam Clerk, can you roll, please?
Sure. Where is, like, I don't know who you are. Mayor Gentry.
Here.
Becky McClure. Present. Bill Stoner.
Present.
Dick Robertson.
Here.
Alan Milburn.
Present.
Thank you.
All righty, and do we have the minutes? No minutes. Okay, so we'll take up the minutes in our next meeting. We'll start with department head reports. First up will be Police Department, Chief Morgan. Come on, Chief, you always know you're first.
Bad. Good evening, board members. Since our last meeting, the Lebanon Police Department has responded to 572 calls for service, and a total of 11 people were arrested for the following crimes. 4 for operating while intoxicated, 4 were wanted on a warrant, 1 for domestic battery, 2 for possession of meth. In that same time frame, LPD took 18 crash reports. As far as training goes, everybody is caught up with all their training. We didn't have any in the last 2 weeks. Everybody's good to go. So I was going to update you guys on our recruitment process. We had 15 applicants return their applications. Out of that, 10 of them took the written test. All 10 scored high enough to move on. So today we had 4 of them make it to this process today, which is the interview with the Board of Officers. They haven't given me the official, but I did talk to some of the officers, and we may get one out of it at least. There may be more, but I know one of the officers that was on the board gave me his opinion. So I'll be contacting you guys hopefully shortly to maybe set up a interview with the board.
How many spots are you looking to fill?
Well, we have 3 spots. We have 2 laterals. So we're waiting on PERF to get back with us, Public Safety Medical, I guess, to let us know when we can bring them down there for their testing.
So there's 1 spot remaining.
Yeah.
Right, for these 10 applicants we had.
Yes.
15 applicants been widowed, but
Yeah.
we're looking to fill 1.
Yeah, we're looking to fill 1 out of the 3 from the pool.
Is it 2 or laterals?
Yeah, we're hoping. That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you, Chief. Any questions for Chief from the board? Okay. Thank you, Chief, very much. All right, next will be Fire Department, Chief Batts.
Good evening, everyone. Since the last Board of Public Works and Safety meeting, Lebanon Fire has made 130 emergency calls of service, logged 179 training hours, completed 30 commercial inspections, and fulfilled 9 pre-plans. Western Boone Senior and City Communications interns Zara Smith was with us for a day of training on Tuesday, November 26th. Z had the opportunity to participate in live fire training, go on emergency runs, and she even took part in a workout. It was a great experience for her. We really enjoyed her spending the day with us. And it's a good relationship we're building with Western Boone, with those students that are interested in the fire service, much like we do with Lebanon High School. 12-2 through 12-6, 8 LFD firefighters, French, Gully, Crow, Rigdon, McNair, Keller, Messersmith, and Gaylor completed their, completed their car seat technician certification class. We had firefighters from the Noblesville Fire Department and area hospitals also in the class, and LFD was able to host that. We made it a community event for parents or caretakers to be able to bring their car seats in and have them fitted, and their child to be fitted in exclusively in that car seat. So it was a great experience for everyone. Captain Sam Doherty attended NIMS 400 certification class. This class is mandatory for command level officers, and it focuses on command and control of large scale incidents. Last Saturday, LFD had the honor of hosting the Western Moon Girls State Champion Volleyball team on Ladder 213 for the Christmas parade. Hats off to the Lebanon Parks Department. John Messenger and his team put together an absolutely amazing Christmas parade. It's probably the largest one that we've had, and it was just great experience for everyone. So really proud of their efforts. And last but not least, the LFD admin team has been ringing the Salvation Army bell. We'll be back out at Walmart this coming Friday afternoon from 1 until 3. So come out and visit us. That's all I have for this evening.
So Chief, just to clarify, you guys were volunteering. You weren't being voluntold to be out
Yes,
there in the cold
we
the
are
other day?
volunteering. I have the privilege of serving on the Boone County Advisory Board for the Salvation Army, and we always go out a couple times a year and volunteer our time to ring the bell.
Any questions for Chief from the board? For the public? All right, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right, next will be Parks and Recreation. John Messenger.
Good evening. Anya, good to see you back. That's awesome. The new replacement playground at Abner Longley has been completed. Also installed 90 yards of certified playground mulch. With the help of several Kiwanians, they helped us finish up that mulch. Again, a very special thank you to Kiwanis for their help financially and also with their labor on this project. It's gorgeous. Everybody loves it. And they got this last weekend to get out and play. I also have a new musical playground that is also installed this past week. This was done under the direction of Taylor O'Brien. All installers had to deal with some really tough conditions. That rain, they had a tent down there, but and then the 10 degrees, that was nice too. And again, I want to thank Taylor and all the volunteers for their great addition that we have to the park. And I think this will get him his Eagle Scout. I don't know if it's a badge or rank or what it is. I didn't make it past Cub Scouts myself. So I'm real proud of the kid. Good boy. The lights in Memorial Park were turned on Thanksgiving evening. We have been doing a lot of preparation for Christmas in the cabin and the Christmas parade, as well as this past week. All buildings have been winterized and some heaters have been installed on vital buildings. Also doing lots of preparation the past week to get ready for that Christmas festivities. Our maintenance crew has spread some ice melt a couple of times down the trails and downtown, replaced fencing downtown that was damaged. I think that's about the third time that somebody's driven into those fences, and it is what it is. They have the posts coming out. So just be mindful of that when you have a big truck and a hitch on the back of your truck to not damage the fence. But it is what it is. It's been replaced. And planted 10 memorial trees. Also have removed several stumps and removed a couple trees again this past couple weeks. Our programs and events, I thank Chuck. There again, our whole team, the city team from police, and the safety meetings that we had with Chuck and DPW, everybody jumped in, and I can't thank everybody enough for all their help. Real nice, safe. Night parades are different, so it's really nice that everybody jumped in, and I thought it was very organized. And as he said, there were a lot. I'm sure Joe LePage jumping out there, but he will, I'm sure, elaborate on all the festivities. The Gravy Chase was held downtown, Rob, downtown. Thanksgiving Day, we were kind of confused there on a little bit, but they had a great turnout, beautiful weather. Sylvia's Child Advocacy Center, well, there you go. The center hosted some carriage rides at Memorial Park yesterday. They had a real nice turnout and great weather. Our 2024 Christmas in the cabin was a big hit this year. Had a steady crowd the entire time. We had 3 carriages going. This year we provided fresh baked cookies, hot chocolate, a craft, and a chance to visit with Santa and Mrs. Claus. We would like to give a special thank you to our vendors, sponsors, and volunteers. Boone County Cake Company provided the hot chocolate for us. Boone County Shuckers were great volunteers during this event, and our carriage ride sponsors were the Lebanon Parks Foundation, Home National Bank, First Farmers Bank and Trust, and Airtime Heating and Cooling. The Christmas parade began that evening at 6 p.m. in Memorial Park. This was our biggest parade yet with 42 floats. This year, Radio Mom live broadcasted the parade, which was amazing. Yeah, awesome. New touch to the event. The parade ran safely and smoothly, and look forward to doing it again next year. Our office staff is in the process right now of gathering all the hiring information for 2025 season. So if you're 15 and above, we want you to come apply out at the parks. Look for some news in the next couple of weeks. We'll be doing open interviews, and the dates will be announced again within the next couple of weeks. And Mayor, appreciated you and big old Mason there leading the parade there. That was nice.
We had a good time
But
with that.
I can't say enough about our team. Just a good city crew that jumped in, and everybody did a fantastic job.
Just to clarify, the 15 and above, that's for the lifeguards for the summer?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. 15, seasonal help, lifeguards, concession stand workers, and I think we have 17 again to replace this year. And that's all I had.
Any questions for John from the board, from the public? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next up will be Engineering Department, Kevin Krulik.
Thank you. Good evening. A few updates on projects around the city. Want to go back to our regional detention project that is not dead, still out there in the southwest corner of the business park. I only bring it up because we've been approached by several road construction contractors that are looking for borrow sources for dirt for major DOT projects that are happening in the next couple of years. So we may have an opportunity to not only complete that construction, but to complete it free of charge for the city of Lebanon. So
Always nice.
keep you posted on that as we move things forward. But we're working on that with those contractors and our consultants. Grant Street Phase 1, only one update really. Later this evening, we'll have a additional appropriation before the city council to close out that project. That's the Phase 1 section of Grant Street. Phase 2, which is south of Washington Street, we do have an RFP out on the street that NDOT has published for construction inspection. That one is open to letters of interest until the 10th of January, and we'll have that at your second meeting in January for consideration on that. Let's see, the Fordyce Road project, a lot going on there. I want to thank the team at Milestone for putting in a lot of overtime hours trying to get that in before, as the weather allows. They were there surfacing the project yesterday on Sunday, putting the final surface coat on there, and they've been out there hard at work today and will be all week with the proper temperatures on pouring driveway approaches final curb sections, as well as sidewalks, and getting ready to pave the asphalt path. So the hope is to wrap all of that work up if weather allows in the next 2 weeks. So everything east of Grant Street minus lighting and trees should be wrapped up at that time. And then we'll focus our efforts west of Grant Street in the spring. On Witt Road, no real major progress to point out, though. We are marching towards an environmental document completion in April of 2025, which is really just around the corner for how long that process takes. And then hopefully moving into right-of-way engineering and buying in May of next year, getting ready for that 2026 letting on that project. Speaking of projects that are a little far off, Noble Street, 2029, 2030 project. We had our kickoff meeting with our consultants, Shrewsbury and Associates, on the 3rd of December. So moving that one forward. First thing you'll see out there, so that residents know, you'll see staking out there for control work for surveys. So a lot of survey crews will be crawling in around that area over the next couple of weeks. So that's what they're there for. That's what the stakes you might see out in your yard would be for. Working through our community, our 180 makeover program projects. We've recently sent some final documents for final change orders and schedule updates to the Boone County Cake Company contractor, hoping that those will be executed here shortly and have them back to work there. No additional cost to the city on that project, just working through some issues with that contractor. Oaks on Main, happy to report that all the HVAC equipment has now been ordered, and we expect that to start being installed after the first of the year. And that's all the 180 projects we have under contract at this time. Pickleball court reconstruction set for next year. All those contracts were complete and executed last week. So we're ready to go to construction in the spring when the weather breaks. Globe Paving Company is our contractor on that project. Fishing pier, just putting some finishing touches on the fishing pier with our contractor down there. We've also got some grading and seeding and backfilling that will need to be done, but that's most likely, well, we might do some of that work as weather allows in the winter months, but you won't see any grass growing until the spring. And we are now then moving forward with some other park projects. Later tonight, we'll be presenting our findings from our invitation to quote, tripping on my words there. So we're starting the first phase of a perimeter path around Abner Longley Park, and we've had that out to quote for a few weeks, and we have those results we'll share with you later in the meeting. Let's see, then we jump to DPW projects. Last thing we really have to do on this year's resurfacing program is a couple of casting adjustments up on Anderson Lane. I'm sure if you drive Anderson Lane, you know the casting adjustments I'm talking about. So those will be repaired, it should be this week. And then we are moving forward with our 2025 road resurfacing program, and we'll be opening bids here shortly on that. Happy to report, I believe we have 8 bids submitted, so good response on that package. And then, let's see, last project, certainly not least, we're working on the clerk treasurer's office renovations. We'll also be presenting our findings from our invitation to quote later in the meeting on that. Good results, very good results. And then the Leap District projects, really the focus right now is on Whit Road South, finishing up all the work on there and getting that open to traffic. The crossings, the railroad crossings at 375 and 450 North are now surfaced and open to local traffic, open to emergency traffic, but still remain under staggered closure barricades until CSX comes in to complete their crossing arms, which I'm happy to report that as of the last Public Works meeting, we thought that wouldn't be till late spring, and now they're saying sometime in January. So we'll see when they show up to do the work, but we're waiting on them. That's work that CSX themselves has to complete. That's all I have.
Thank you, Kevin. Any questions for Kevin from the board? From the public? Okay, thank you, sir. All right, next will be Planning Department. Ben Bontrager.
Evening, board members. Planning department activity over the last couple of weeks. Still a lot of things going on. Did 113 building inspections and issued 16 permits. So we are seeing some of the permit numbers drop a little bit for the winter time. One of those 16 permits, however, was a new single family home. So still seeing some activity there. And then also still seeing some good commercial and industrial activity. We got one new construction permit, one foundation permit there. So still seeing a lot of activity on the commercial industrial side. A lot of that related to Eli Lilly's project site, but a lot of activity going on out there, as you all well know. In terms of other plan commission related development applications, we just passed the filing deadline for the January plan commission meeting. We have 2 applications, 2 new ones. Spring Creek, if you recall, the development that's at the northwest corner of 339, they're coming in to amend their previous plan unit development approval. Their residential builder has discovered a softening in the market for duplexes, and so they want to change out duplexes for single-family detached homes in that site. And it does take an amendment to do that, and so they're also doing some other updates to their ordinance and the product type as well as part of that. So that will come in for consideration to the Planning Commission in January and then to the council thereafter. The second one is a rezone for actually the subway property in the business park. Some of you may recall that entire business park was zoned industrial back in the day, even though we've got a significant part of that frontage that's been developed as commercial uses. So we have some conflicting zoning out there for some of those uses, including the subway. And so they're looking at doing some additional investment on their property. And so the first step for them would be to get it rezoned to a commercial zoning designation to allow for some of those development opportunities to happen. So that also will be coming in at the January Plan Commission meeting. One final thing I'll mention, just a quick update, the comprehensive plan update, which we've been working on good part of this year. We just had our last committee meeting last week with our steering committee, and we're just going to be wrapping up the creation of the update over the next month or two and expecting to start bringing that through the approval process in February. So we'll see that coming forward to the Plan Commission Council as well at that time. So a lot of good things happening there, getting that wrapped up and ready for approvals first of next year. And so that's the update I have for you tonight.
Thank you, Ben. Any questions for Ben from the board? From the public? Yep, thanks, sir. All right, next will be Public Works Department. Jason Lawson.
Good evening. Since our last meeting, the street department, we've had 2 winter weather events, one on November 29th and one on December 2nd. We used 60 tons of salt and 100 overtime hours. We replaced and repaired 2 street signs, and we finished the final week of leaf season. The stormwater department, they performed the yearly maintenance on our vac trailer, cleaned storm drains, responded to 286 locates, and assisted the city in assisted the street department, in leaf removal and salting. Upcoming, I'm going to continue. Last year, we worked with John and the Parks Department on our safety training, so we're going to continue to do that this winter and get those scheduled. So that's worked out really well. I appreciate that. And also, Joe's been doing a little project highlighting the members of our DPW department. I don't know if you saw that on our Facebook page. I want to thank him for that. I really appreciate that. In the inspection department, they had 7 SWIP inspections, 4 right-of-way inspections, and 0 complaints.
Very good. Any questions for Jason from the board? For the public? Okay, thank you, sir. And last but not least, Communications and Community Development, Jill Page.
Evening, everyone. As John and Chief Batts both alluded to, we wrapped up and have been leveling up our Christmas on the Square event. The parade was broadcast, as mentioned, on Radio Mom. Scott and Stacy Dempster did a great job of giving kind of the play-by-play from the parade. We also had some live music on the radio as well from 5 after midnight, and also the Lebanon Madrigals. And we were live on the city's Facebook page as well. So you can still see that. You can still see the parade and experience all the pomp and the circumstance from the parade. Many positives as we were trying some new things, but certainly some areas for improvement. So we'll do that, some assessment, and see how to move forward in years past and maybe even level up from this year. And so expect to see more deliverables from this event, pics and videos in the coming days and weeks. You may have seen on the Parks Facebook page, Mariah Som, our event coordinator, was out in the cabin, and also as folks were taking carriage rides around Memorial Park as well. And so capturing memories there, maybe taking some of that strain and stress off of John and his team to be able to just dive into the event and have Mariah take some great pictures. And so more of those will be coming your way in the days and weeks to come. Kind of forecasting a little bit into 2025, our creative community, you remember an $11,000 grant towards the arts we were granted within the city of Lebanon. An old school phone booth has been purchased as part of that grant. This was the Lebanon storyboard. And so the thought process is to have a lot of people from all over our community share their respective stories when it comes to what brought them to Lebanon or their favorite restaurant, different things. You can have different prompts throughout the year, and it can be moved to different locations. So backing up a little bit, the phone booth has been purchased. The retro payphone looking MP3 player, you pick up the receiver, you listen to the prompted message, and then you share your thoughts as well. Those have all been purchased. Meeting later on this week with our creative team to chat about next steps. Expect to see more pretty pictures and things, opportunities to get involved in this project coming up in early 2025. And so encourage everyone to stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that. And finally, we have Zara Smith and Lauren Argate, who are our interns, and our Love in Lebanon podcast episode tomorrow will feature both of those young ladies sharing about their experiences so far. They're both great young ladies, 2 different kind of thought processes and what they want to be when they grow up currently, but both really have an eye for photography. We shared some of their pictures today. We took them to Dulles and just turned them loose on some things we've been practicing. And so they did a great job. On the podcast, we also talk about their favorite parts, and Chief Batts may have alluded to Zara's. And so I encourage you to listen to that podcast episode tomorrow. And you can hear that episode wherever you get the rest of your podcast, whether it be Spotify or iTunes. Anywhere you like to go to get podcasts, that's where you can find the Love in Lebanon podcast. And if you'd like to be featured, we're getting inquiries increasing over the years. Love in Lebanon at lebanon.in.gov is the email address to kind of get the ball rolling. So looking forward to bringing more episodes in 2025 after we get a couple more this year. So,
Joe, I think we're almost at 200, correct?
Just about. We're nearing that. Mm-hmm.
Any questions for Joe from the board, from the public? Okay, thank you, sir. All right, that concludes department head reports. Move on to old business. There's nothing on my agenda for old business, anything from the board?
No.
Okay, new business then. First up is a bid opening for our 2025 resurfacing program. Kevin?
Thank you very much. Let me get connected here. Let's see. Okay, first up, we are opening bids for our 2025 street resurfacing program. Remind everyone, this is a virtual online bidding platform that we incorporate into our process. A lot of other cities also use this. This is the current interface for the street resurfacing program. As you can see there at the top of the page, we received 8 bids. The bidding closed at 3 o'clock, and bids all had to be submitted and uploaded on this format. So there are the 8 bidders that submitted. And as you can see there, all the columns are full with the required documents that they were supposed to submit. And so now that we can see all the documents were submitted, we will just change these, not to accepted. Correctly with my finger here. All those documents were received. Bids from Milestone Contractors, Howard Companies LLC, Baumgartner and Company LLC, DC Construction Services Incorporated, Calumet Civil Contractors, Midwest Paving LLC, as well as Reith Riley Construction. So 8 bidders. Good response on this. We'll save these acceptances, and then we will jump right into the display here of all the bidding documents. Okay, so what these are, there were a number of projects that were required. These projects were 13 projects altogether. 2 of those were alley resurfacings, and 10 of those projects were included on our community crossing grant, our community crossing application. So the apparent low bidder at this time, as you can see, we have DC Construction Services at $1,222,022.86. These would be a combination of all 13, $1,436,918.50. Reith Riley at $1,490,000. Baumgartner and Company LLC, $1,530,649.75. Milestone Contractors, $1,620,700. Grady Brown Incorporated, $1,635,254. Contractors Incorporated at $1,654,000 even. So again, all 8 contractors were, you can see on the screen there, and based on the responses supplied, we will review all these documents and come back to you with a recommendation. But Construction Services is the apparent low bidder at $1,222,022.86, well below our $1.4 million project.
Good. All right, any questions? Okay, so we'll take up the bid award at our next meeting.
Yes.
Which will be actually in January 13th. Is that
I
correct?
would
Or do you want
like
to try
to
to do the
do-
special meeting?
If we could arrange a special meeting just to make that award, that would be helpful, just so we can put these under contract this year. Helps us with encumbering any leftover monies in our DPW department.
Do we have to do, so I know it's a 48-hour notice for a special meeting, Board of Works. Is there a special notice for a bid award? Like, is
No.
it a 10-day notice, anything like that?
Just
No.
to
Okay.
have a special meeting, a quorum to accept my recommendation for award.
All right, well, the board, we can talk about when we're available. Obviously, we're in the holiday season, but probably get in by before the end of the year would be helpful. So we'll award that bid at our special meeting at a date to be determined still.
Much.
Okay. Our next item would be our bid opening for annual supply bids. Kevin?
Thank you very much. If we can share my screen here, we'll see the interface for the 2025 annual supply bids. These are bids for material supplies, but also general things like removal and replacement of asphalt, removal and replacement of removal and placement of curbs, things of that nature. So a lot of stuff that we do operationally, whether through our active living programs or through the Department of Public Works. So this is the bid package for that. You can see we received 4 bids. All of them were submitted before the required time. We have bids from Milestone Contractors, Wilson Contracting LLC, Triangle Asphalt Paving Corporation, and Reith Riley Construction. Similar process here. You can see that the documents that were required to be submitted, the Form 96, as well as the contractor's affidavit, were submitted by all 4 contractors. We'll switch these from under review to acceptance so that we have to do, this is how we, opening here, we cannot see these results until we accept them. Save that. Go to our bid display. And what we can, I think I closed that accidentally. The reason those totals show up at 0 on the last screen is that these are all optional bid items. So no one has to submit all items. So there's not really something to total here. So again, you'll see Milestone Contractors under that column. As usual, they typically propose and win our bids for supply of asphalt surface. And you can see they submitted bids for NDOT number 11 surface, picked up by the city at $76.30. NDOT number 8 binder, also picked up by the city at $68.70. These are bids for materials that we would go and purchase and then place with our own workforce. And then NDOT number 9 binder, again picked up by the city at $71.50. As well as MWS Winter Mix at $150 even. That looks like that's all that Milestone submit on. Wilson Contracting. We've got a long history with Wilson on concrete work around the city. So they've submitted concrete unit prices in the following: concrete sidewalk removal and replacement, $12 per square foot. Concrete pavement, this is just for thicker pavement, thicker concrete surfaces, $17.50 a square foot. Heavy-duty concrete pavement at 9 inches thickness, that's $19.50 a square foot. 2-foot roll curb and gutter removal and all these are removal and replacement. Sorry if I didn't say that. At $49.50 a lineal foot. 2-foot combined curb and gutter removal and replacement at $49.50 a lineal foot. Concrete ADA ramp removal and replacement, those are each at $13 or $1,350. 2-foot concrete reinforced gutter, this is for drive approaches, that is at $52.50 a lineal foot. And then 2-foot concrete gutter removal and replace at $49.50. All these are referenced, these names are all referenced in our city standards. Looks like the Wilson Company also submitted in our grass seeding option. This is the new items that we bid this year for removal and or for placement of topsoil, straw matting, and establishment of turf grass at $50 a ton for topsoil, $9.50 per yard of straw mat, and $6,000 for an acre of turf grass. Let's see, moving on here, we have Triangle Asphalt Paving Corporation. Interesting that all their items appear to be blank. We'll review that and see if there's some discrepancy there we need to address. Moving to the Reith Riley construction. They also submitted on the NDOT number 11 surface material picked up by the city at $5 a ton. They submitted on the NDOT number 8 binder picked up by the city at $72 a ton. NDOT number 9 binder also picked up by the city at $73.50 a ton. MWS winter mix material picked up by the city at $155 a ton. And that looks like that completes all of the bids that we've received for our supply packages for this year.
Okay, so we'll review those and probably award those at our special meeting as well, which is will to be determined.
To be determined.
And also, if we have to clarify with Triangle, I'm sure they probably didn't mean to submit a totally blank.
You know,
bid,
the
so-
process not only requires them to submit through that spreadsheet online, but there's also backup materials that are also uploaded. So we'll review those and we'll work with our attorney and see what kind of discrepancies there we can resolve and see how we can come to decisions there before we come back to you with a recommendation.
All right, thank you, Kevin. All right, those are the supply bids. Our next will be the invitation to quote results and recommendation for the Abner Longley perimeter path.
Very much. Okay, so we put out an invitation to quote for our, we don't need to share the screen here, sorry. Invitation to quote, sorry, I don't know why my screen just. Okay, we put out an invitation to quote for our phase 1 of our Abner Longley Park perimeter path. So the goal is to build a perimeter path that would encompass and circle Abner Longley Park. And so this was the first phase package that we put together. And this is to extend off of the Big 4 Trail at the northwest corner of the Lebanon youth football fields and extend that south, crossing the driveways in and out of the parking lot, and then connect into some other existing asphalt path that we have in that side of the park. So this is below the bidding threshold, so that's why this is an invitation to quote and not a public bid opening. So we received 5 responses from the invitation to quote. And the low responding quoter was Ace Paving at $60,000. Well below the quote threshold or the bid threshold of $150,000. We actually thought we would be a little closer to that. So this is it's a very aggressive price. We're pleased with those results. So.
Do we need to, can we award tonight or do we want to wait on the award?
These are different than bidding. So we've already reviewed these and qualified these before we put this memo together. So at this point, we feel confident recommending that Ace Paving is the lowest, most responsive quoter on this package, and we would recommend that you authorize us to issue a notice of award and prepare the proper contracts, subject to legal review, and authorizing the mayor to sign on behalf of the city.
Any questions on that from the board?
This won't start till next year.
Correct. These do not have to be done till July of next year, July 1.
All right. With that, would entertain a motion then to accept the quote from Ace Paving, subject to final legal review and authorizing me to execute any necessary contracts.
Move to accept as presented.
Motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Bill. All in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed? All right. That's approved. All right. And Kevin?
I should also note that project is funded by our American Rescue Plan program. So
Okay.
That's one of the last projects left to start in that program, which is why we're getting these bids under contract before the end of the year when those monies were required to be obligated.
All right. And finally, the invitation to quote results and recommendations for the clerk treasurer's office remodel.
Thank you very much. Happy to report these as well. Again, an invitation to quote was issued for the remodel of the clerk treasurer's office to add 2 new offices and then do some additional work through alternates on wallpaper removal and painting. At this point, we need to verify a little more detail on the alternates. There was some variation between the bid packages. So for tonight, though, we are just recommending the quote for the office renovations. And that's for, to build the 2 new offices in a space that they have in their existing office space. And we received 3 responses to our invitation to quote. And at this time, I'm happy to report that the low quoter was Cunningham Construction with a quote of $34,302. Again, Cunningham Construction, $34,302. Again, below what we were estimating. So we're pleased with these results.
Any questions on that from the board? So do you want to essentially issue notice of award to Cunningham for this, or do you want to?
We would like to go ahead and do that, and then we'll come back with a different recommendation associated or a different item for you to consider regarding the alternates, which is in the spaces outside of where the construction will go on to remove wallpaper and repaint the offices. So we'll view that as a separate project. But for right now, yes, we're recommending Cunningham Construction as the lowest, most responsive and responsible quoter on this invitation to quote. And we are recommending that you authorize us to issue a notice of award and prepare the proper contract subject to legal review and authorizing the mayor to sign on your behalf.
Questions on that from the board?
Nope. Who's Cunningham Construction? Are they local?
Yes, a gentleman by the name of Nick Cunningham, I believe he is local, yes.
Other questions? Okay, and at this time, then we'll entertain a motion concerning the quote results for the clerk treasurer's office.
To approve the notice of award and authorize execution of contracts, subject to legal review, to Cunningham Construction for the modeling project of the clerk treasurer's office.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Bill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that's approved. All right, Kevin, I'm going to give you a break really quick. We have our 2024 resurfacing program final closeout order. Jason Lawson.
So our summer paving is now completed. Quantities have been adjusted to reflect this final closeout order of $1,629,255.65 that I would be asking you to approve.
So essentially, we just need to approve the order. Okay.
Yes.
What was that dollar amount again, Jason? 1,629,000 what?
255.65. That was the final contract amount after everything was adjusted.
Any questions on that from the board? Okay, then would entertain a motion then to approve the final closeout order for our 2024 resurfacing program.
I'll make a motion, we approve the final closeout order for the 2024 resurfacing program.
Okay, motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alan. All fair side.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that's approved. All right, and there was a late addition here, board, but with timeless, we want to make sure we got this on the agenda tonight. This is a preliminary engineering agreement concerning County Road 300 North, the railroad crossing there. So, Kevin?
Yeah, this has been there was a similar action before you a while back for County Road 375 North and County Road 450 North. Due to the annexations, those road rights of way are city rights of way, and those cross CSX rights of way. And so whenever there was going to be work done or requested within our rights of way affecting the CSX rights of way, the local right of way holder has to enter into an agreement with CSX for the design and eventually for the construction of that work. So similar to the other projects on 375 and 450 North, these are projects and programs that are put forth by the LEAP district, and but they are not able to enter into contracts with CSX because they are not the right-of-way holder. We are, so we are being asked to execute these contracts of similar fashion for crossing upgrades at County Road 300 North. This is not a project that will happen anytime in the real near future. This is probably at the earliest. This is a 2026 project. And, but the IEDC through their consultants at Pure Development and through their engineering contracts with American Structure Point are currently designing the reconstruction of 300 North from the road that section it is today, which is a rural 2-lane cross section, to a more urbanized 4-lane divided cross section that would include full railroad crossing upgrades with crossing arms, signals, lights at that crossing. It also includes sidewalks and paths and proper crossing adjustments for the sidewalks and paths as they cross it. So again, this is a contract between us and CSX to enter into these agreements for the design and construction of this work. But the city is not financially liable for any of this work. All those liabilities will be handled by Pure Development and the IEDC, but we have to enter into the contract because of the CSX right-of-way and the crossings with our right-of-way.
Any questions on that from the board? Okay, then it would entertain a motion then to approve the preliminary engineering agreement concerning County Road 300 North with CSX.
I'll make a motion, we approve the preliminary engineering agreement for County Road 300 North. Yes, CSX.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
Second from Bill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, that is approved. All right, that concludes what I have for new business. Anything from the board? Okay, move on to claims. Entertain a motion concerning the claims.
Make a motion, we approve the claims.
Motion to approve the claims. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those claims are approved. So before we adjourn, board, are there any certain dates that might work for us for the bid award for the for the special meeting for the paving contracts? Because we could do it also during the day. It doesn't have to be at night either. So we could pick a.
I leave Wednesday, will not be back until the 16th that evening.
Okay.
And then I'm out the 29th through the end of the year.
Okay.
So
It also suggests I'm out next week. I'm out most of the rest of the year, but I can come in for this meeting, say the week of the 23rd, if that would work better for people.
I know we were talking about potentially one at city council meeting, the 27th, maybe it's that Friday, I think. I mean, does during the day work for everybody? If we had to do it during the day, would that be okay? Huh?
It depends on what day.
Depends on what day.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have to reveal our public schedules here at this meeting tonight. So maybe we'll have we'll send out something to figure out when people are available. That makes sense? We'll figure out some dates. So, okay.
All right.
Okay. Well, we'll target something for the end of the year.
We'll reach out to set up the calendar in on this and get back to everybody on what might work.
And we'll post that.
And it's not critical. It helps us with some of clearing up some of the 2024 to 2025 budgets. But if it has to wait till next year, I think we'll be okay. We've spent most of the money in the DPW budget this year anyway. So
It's probably wouldn't be a very long meeting though. So if we can find 15 minutes, probably be okay.
I think we do this almost every year. Last year was a little different, so we didn't do this at the end of last year. But in previous years, we've typically had a very quick second meeting in December to award contracts. Literally, it takes longer to open the meeting than to take the action. So.
Okay. With that, unless there's anything else from the board, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Alan?
I just want to make a comment, personal privilege here of thanking all of the department heads and all the employees as we wind down another year. It's been a busy year. There's been a lot on the table. There's going to be more to come, but I appreciate that as a board member, and I want to commend you and wish everyone a happy holiday, safe season.
Very well said. Is there a motion?
motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Second from Becky. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Our next regularly scheduled meeting will be January 13th at 5:30 p.m., January 13th, 2025. But again, we will have a post notice 48 hours ahead of time for our special meeting. So with that, our city council will be up at 7:15. We are adjourned.
Very good.